Harry's Wife, part 101.39. Can't hold a candle to her. Actually, you can. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I make these videos as part of my own prime aims, primarily the extension of my legacy, and it's important for me to illuminate you about narcissism in action. I want to shed light upon another incident that occurred yesterday during Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. It's axiomatic to get a handle on narcissism as it occurs. I'm not going to wax lyrical, but instead we'll move to the meat of this analysis shortly. Undoubtedly, Harry's wife will view this as a scandal, whereas we didn't view her at all. I would suggest what happened was better lit than never. Whether it was a waxident is a matter of conjecture, and I could keep this going into next week. Harry's wife always wanted to be famous, and certainly a section of yesterday's funeral service caused this fire real. You might think Harry's wife should lighten up, but a situation like this could prove too hot to handle, and ultimately ends up making her feel weak because of the burn. We turn to skynews.com.au. Always entertaining to have an Aussie perspective on this from down under. Go to Australia. And an article by Crystal Wu tells us Harry's wife blocked by candle during live broadcast of Queen Elizabeth II's state funeral at Westminster Abbey. Now, the interesting point is this. If this had been anybody else, nobody would have cared. It wasn't that long that it occurred for. She was on display for major parts of the funeral. But because so many people don't like her, and certainly the good crew down at Sky News Australia find it very entertaining to take the piss out of her, various news outlets and social media commented upon the fact that she was blocked by a candle. If she was popular, no one would care. If she was liked, nobody would care. But because of her own behaviours, nothing to do with people being haters, but because of her own behaviour, she isn't liked. She isn't popular. People find her annoying, irritating, and all the other adjectives that have been utilised with regard to her behaviour. And therefore, as Crystal Wu writes, the Duchess of Sussex stood alongside her husband, Prince Harry, during the service for Queen Elizabeth II on Monday. But many noticed that she was hard to spot due to the positioning of a singular burning candle. Harry's wife appeared to be blocked by a candle during the live broadcast of Queen Elizabeth II's state funeral on Monday. The mother of two wore a black dress matching her outfit with the same colour heels and a wide brim hat as she arrived at Westminster Abbey in London. She appeared downcast as she exited a car with Sophie, Countess of Wessex, closely following Princess Kate and two of her children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Harry's wife, 41, made sure to honour Her Majesty by wearing a pair of sparkly diamond earrings she had been gifted years ago when she was still a working member of the royal family. The former actress and her husband, Prince Harry, were seated in the second row, behind King Charles III and next to Princess Beatrice and her husband Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi for the funeral service. But a candle blocking her face was believed to be strategically placed to block her out of the broadcast, according to some eagle-eyed social media users. TV Fanatic tweeted, "That candle protecting Harry's wife from prying eyes who want to judge everything she does." Ava, have they strategically placed a candle to block Harry's wife's face? Laugh my ass off. Build-A-Bird, on the sad occasion of Her Majesty's funeral, I am comforted in the knowledge Harry's wife's head is obscured by a candle. BBC footage shows a candle blocking the view of Harry's wife. If this is not poetic justice, I don't know what is. Another said they didn't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but that candle is totally blocking the view of Harry's wife. The Duchess of Sussex and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, were later seen exiting Westminster Abbey together following the funeral procession. And what are the observations in relation to this? Old Pilot writes, has to be accidental. No one could hold a candle to Harry's wife, or so we have heard. Purple 293. The candle didn't block enough. Anyway, that stupid hat blocked everyone else's view of proceedings. Response to clowns. Incredible shot. It's the most glamorous coverage of Harry's wife ever. Now, it's pure coincidence. Nobody would have placed that there, or the camera, to block her, because you can still see part of her, and of course she was seen throughout. But what this does raise, it's a barometer of her lack of popularity, that people see these things and comment upon them. Of course, those that are her supporters will just use this as further evidence of people being haters, but they fail to understand why people dislike her. Indeed, many of those people that trot out "you're a hater" really need to get a new dictionary, because their definition of hate is incorrect. Their definition of hate is this: somebody who is allowed to comment and observe and make an observation about somebody else utilising evidence, no matter how fair and reasonable that is, because it's about Harry's wife, must be a hater. That isn't the definition of hate. Those that support her will just use this as further evidence of believing that people hate her. Everybody else revels in it because they don't like her, because of her own behaviour, and if she had behaved differently, she would not have been subjected to this kind of ridicule. How would this make Harry's wife feel? Well, of course, at the time, she had no idea that the candle was blocking her. And undoubtedly, because we all know that she does, despite her protestations to the contrary, as a consequence of Tom Bower's book Revenge, she does look at social media, she does look at the press and find out what's going on. And when this has been raised, she will be annoyed, irritated by the fact that her face, which she believes is perfect and beautiful, was blocked by this candle. Her paranoia may well cause her to believe that this was done on purpose. See, Harry, it's a racist candle. It's a yellow candle. This is some Asian on black hatred I'm experiencing here. Harry, of course, will just shake his head and think, oh my goodness me, what the fuck have I done marrying this lunatic? Nevertheless, whilst her paranoia may cause her to believe that this was done deliberately, she would then deal with it by dismissing it, by saying, this is typical of what I've been subjected to, Harry. Even the BBC are starting to take the piss out of me. See, this is a country full of haters and racists. Aren't you pleased that we fled across the ocean to be away from them? Her narcissism will cause a pity play to be doled out to whoever will listen. I come back for this funeral. Of course, that's the revision of history. She was already in the country. But her narcissism will frame it as she's to come back for it. And look what's happened. I come along, notwithstanding the considerable hostility that I've had to be dealt with, but I show grace, I show poise. I go out and meet the people after them interrupting that fantastic session I was enjoying down the Dog and Duck on Saturday afternoon. I turn up with the family who've done nothing for me, who've hated on both of us, and I behave with grace and decorum. And then they stick a candle on my visage, and then the press has a field day taking the piss out of me. I'm right all along. Her paranoia and the narcissistic perspective will cause her to believe that not either this was done on purpose, and even if it was not, that the press are certainly revelling in this, and that they're all arseholes, horrible haters, racists, misogynists, etc. She will complain about it to Harry and whoever else will listen, and their supportive responses, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, 2 bags full, ma'am, 3 bags full, ma'am, even, or, yes, darling, I know it's awful. Have you seen my building blocks? And I think I've lost my green crayon. This is a really dark day indeed, will result in her having that subconscious sensation of control that her narcissism craves. For everybody else, they'll be amused and entertained by the fact that a candle got in her way. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.